Newport Beach 911.
I need an ambulance right away. Someone's been stabbed. It's a girl.
Dude. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Real Brewsome. I'm Mark.
And I'm Johnny.
And today we're about to get a little dirty.
Wait, don't you mean filthy?
Yeah, filthy too. This guy is a real filthy dude.
Today we're reviewing the saga that is Dirty John.
And when that gets too overbearing, we're going to take you guys to one of the very best craft breweries or cocktail bars around.
Let's dig into the dirt.
Today's story begins in the fall of 2014 in Newport Beach, California. Deborah Newell, a single 59-year-old woman with 3 daughters, is on the prowl on a dating site for singles over 50 called Our Time. She matches with a man named John Michael Meehan. His profile says he's 6'2", 55 years old, has 2 daughters, and is a physician. Deborah, who runs Ambrosia Interior Design located in Irvine, is impressed. They decide to meet at her penthouse in Irvine and walk to this restaurant where they find a seat at the bar.
John proceeded to tell Deborah that he was an anesthesiologist and owned 2 houses, one in Newport Beach and one in Palm Springs. He said he served several years in Iraq, telling her stories of jumping out of helicopters. Deborah was intrigued by this, finding John very charming. Nearing the end of the date, they walked back to Deborah's penthouse, where they shared a smooch, and then John threw himself on her bed, saying, "This feels incredible." Deborah, feeling uncomfortable, asked John to leave. The next day, John called to apologize. Deborah decided to give him another shot. So where are we going to take the people now, Johnny?
I think we should take him to the house.
The house?
The house. Holy moly, dude. That was a close one.
Yeah, bro. Those 3 blocks can really take it out of you.
Anyway, after just 5 weeks of dating, Deborah and John moved into this house. At the time, rent was $6,500 a month, and Deborah put down a year in advance. She didn't want anybody to know that he was living there, but right before Thanksgiving...
Dude, what's with all of our stories so far taking place around Thanksgiving?
IDK, bro. I guess that time of year just brings out the worst in people. But right before Thanksgiving, Tara came to visit with her boyfriend. Tara saw all John's stuff there and confronted her mom. Before she knew it, John was in Tara's face yelling at her, which led to Deborah and John kicking Tara and her boyfriend out the day before Thanksgiving. None of Deborah's kids seemed to like John, and John knew it. He'd tell Deborah that her kids were, quote, waiting for her to die so they could collect. Deborah was overwhelmed by all this, so she went to a psychiatrist who told her to put boundaries on her kids. John obviously loved this.
Shortly after Thanksgiving, Deborah had to drive to Vegas on business. John saw this as an opportunity to tag along and convinced her to stop by a courthouse to get married. John worked fast. Only knowing each other for 2 months, she kept this under wraps. In the coming months, Deborah's middle daughter, Jacqueline, grew even more suspicious of John. She asked her mom if she could put a tracking device on his car and see where he went during the day. Deborah agreed. But Jacqueline didn't stop there and told her sister, Nicole, to hire a private eye to investigate John.
Shad Vickers, Deborah's nephew, had heard about John's reputation, but wanted to keep an open mind when meeting him. Upon first impression, they seemed to get along, talking sports. John told Shad about his tour in Iraq. Everything seemed to be fine till John, Deborah, and Shad started talking about Jacqueline. John made the comment, quote, "I can take her out from 1,000 yards out." Deborah was quick to shrug it off. but Shad told Jacqueline, which scared her. After this, she kept a low profile. The PI they hired came back with some info. Turns out John had a nursing license, not a doctor's license. He found that John had a bankruptcy on his record, had previously been living in a trailer park in Riverside and then the county jail in Santa Ana. Shad relayed all this to Deborah. Who had she married?
I thought you'd never ask.
He grew up with an alcoholic father that didn't respect his mother. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. John wanted to get into medical school and to make a quick buck, turned to a gigolo lifestyle hooking up with older chicks. When that wasn't enough for him, he turned to selling cocaine, heavily cutting it to half the grade. He dated around breaking hearts during this time in the early 80s, practicing his con art to a perfection. In 1983, he convinced his best buddy at the time to sell it with him and then sold him out once they got busted. He threw his best friend under the bus, telling him that he needed to rat him out in order to get into medical school. I would never sell you out like that, bro.
I'll see you in the trenches there, Marky Mark.
Years later, John gets married to his first wife, Tanya, in 1988, a nurse he met and pursued. She fell hard for John. None of John's family were invited to the wedding, John telling her that they were an embarrassment. Was the wedding ring nice that John gave to Tanya, you ask? Let's just say we've seen better rocks on a ring pop. The ring he proposed with was a fake, worthless chunk of glass. Sticking around with Tanya for years to come, John finally graduated nursing school, becoming a nurse anesthetist, only to divorce her in the mid-90s after their second child's birth. John files for divorce and abandons his family. At this time, Tanya finally contacts John's mom, followed with John's sisters, after finding the number on the internet. The mom tells her about John's scams from the past. Tanya soon realizes her whole marriage was a sham. John had anesthetic drugs hidden in his closet's top shelf. He was sending drugs to his brother in Santa Cruz. Later, his brother died from an overdose. Tanya contacts the police and told the cops what she knows, as he was stealing drugs from the hospital. John then moves to Indiana and works for the Board of Nursing and thinks Tanya told the board of his dangerous, unpredictable ways, when it was really friends of Tanya telling them about his rocky past. John calls Tanya, where this conversation takes place.
I have it on excellent authority. You're the one who's been making the phone calls.
I have never called the Indiana Board of Nursing.
I got a big smile on my face, and you know why? Because it's going to get done.
What's going to get done?
You will understand when the time comes. I'll be in Bermuda having a big Cobra Libra with a 22-year-old when it happens.
That's
you
nice.
Keep that in mind. Tanya, you enjoy your time left on this earth, okay? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
Everybody knows it'll be you, and you're not going to make it to Bermuda.
Oh, I'll be in Bermuda, Tanya.
Oh, you'll be in Bermuda, so
Yeah.
Where will the kids be?
Probably with your parents.
Okay.
Wondering, gosh, what happened to Mom?
When John left one day, Deborah snuck into the office and started looking through his papers. What she'd found only concluded her family's suspicions. John's records showed numerous jail terms, restraining orders from ex-girlfriends, a prison stint in Michigan for stealing drugs, and more prison time in California. When police had searched his storage unit, they found a Colt 38 Special, binoculars, cable ties, syringes, and cyanide. In 2014, John had served a stint at the Theo Lacey jail facility in Orange. He gets out on October 8th. On October 10th, John met Deborah online. Shortly after, Deborah got lucky when John went to seek treatment at Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach, California. He went in for back surgery and developed an intestinal blockage which caused over a 3-week stay. Deborah wasted no time and moved out of their Balboa house. She was instructed to annul the marriage and go into hiding. Watching her every move on the cameras he'd installed, John started sending threatening and erroneous texts.
Erroneous! Erroneous! Erroneous on both counts!
On the 23rd day of his stay, Deborah went into the hospital demanding answers. He had an explanation for everything, which was very convincing to Deborah. She took him back and didn't tell anybody. They began looking for another place. 2 months later, they'd moved into an apartment near the Irvine Spectrum.
In the summer of 2015, Deborah's family found out that they were still together. They were in shock, and it put a strain on their relationship. John didn't want Deborah to see her family. and her fear eventually hit a breaking point. She started to plan her escape.
Went and got professional help and asked, what should I do? They told me what he was doing is called coercive control. And you don't just walk away, because that's when you become in major danger.
She started hiding money from John. In October, she bought a house in Henderson, Nevada, a place where John could stay, distancing him from her family. Eventually, John found some of the money Deborah was hiding from him, and he got into it. John threatened her, so she packed a bag, told him she wanted to get a divorce, and left.
On March 29, 2016, Deborah and Jacqueline went to the house in Henderson, Nevada, and started packing Deborah's stuff. The next month, she filed for divorce. It got ugly. John sent some nudes he'd gotten from Deborah to her family and threatened to, quote, break her. He wanted $7,000 a month in spousal support and $75,000 in attorney's fees. At the time, John was living in the Nevada house. Deborah was living here at the Carlisle apartments. Her daughter Jacqueline was staying with her. They were afraid that at any moment John could show up.
On August 19, 2016, Jacqueline was returning home from having dinner with a friend. When they pulled up, Jacqueline spotted John in a rental car waiting. It was dark, but Jacqueline could see John's face illuminated from his cell phone light. He looked up and they locked eyes. John quickly sped off, and Jacqueline told her friend to follow him, but John got away running a red light. Jacqueline went straight to her sister Tara's apartment in Newport to make sure she was safe.
The next day on August 20th, Tara was returning home at the Coronados from work. She was pulling up to her normal spot, SR 423, when she saw a homeless-looking man nearby in a Dodge Dart fidgeting with a tire iron. Thinking nothing of it, she walked back to let her dog Cash out. The next thing she knew, John came up behind her, grabbed her by the waist, and said, "Do you remember me?" He put his hands over her mouth, trying to restrain her. She bit his hand and was pushing him away when he started stabbing her. Luckily, her purse got the brunt of it, but he got her once in the arm. They wrestled to the ground. Cash was biting his ankles, and Tara somehow managed to kick the knife out of John's hand. She acted on her first instinct and grabbed the knife and plunged it into John over and over again, the 13th time being in his upper eyelid.
Someone's been stabbed and he attacked a girl. It's a girl and her dog, and then a guy is on the ground. I'm not really sure what happened. We just heard her screaming.
Do you see blood?
Here. Yes, and the guy's just on the ground.
Skylar Sepulveda, who heard Tara's screams from her nearby apartment, told her mom to call 911 as she ran out the door to help Tara. Tara was frantic, saying, "I need to get away from him." She was terrified that John was going to get back up. She called her mom and proceeded to tell her, "I'm really, really sorry. I think I killed your husband." John wasn't breathing when the cops showed up, but they performed CPR on him and regained his pulse. He was rushed to Orange County Medical Center in Santa Ana, where he was put on life support, and Tara was taken to Hogue. John's sister Karen was called to the hospital, where on the 4th day, gave the okay to take him off life support. Alright, dude, this story's getting way too out of hand for my liking.
Yeah?
Yes. We need to go get a beer. And you know where the best, dankest IPAs are around here, right?
Thinking Riiper?
I'm thinking Riiper. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, we're here at Riiper. It's about 15-20 minutes up PCH, but it's a beautiful drive, you know, well worth it. I mean, that case is pretty gnarly.
That guy was super nuts and unpredictable.
There's actually a Netflix show, a podcast, Dirty John, as well as there's an Oxygen show.
We highly encourage you guys to go watch the Oxygen Dirty John story and the Dirty John podcast.
Yeah. Mark, what'd you go with?
You know, I went with the Shriimp and Griits.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was actually tasting pretty good. It's got Mosaic, Strata, and Vic's Secret in there, and it's a crystal clear beer, as you can see. But you're gonna find some of the best dank hoppy IPAs, period, in Southern California here in Riiper. Their brewer, Ian McCall, does some of the best IPAs I've ever had in my life. There's award-winning GABF medal-winning beers, most notably his black IPA that a lot of people do collabs with him. They're begging to do the black IPA because they know it's gonna be a good beer. But that's next. What are you drinking there, Johnny?
I got the Stratacaster. It's 100% Strata.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's got a little
Nice,
strawberry
bro.
notes in there. I mean, I'm not a huge strawberry guy, but it's nice. It's good.
Yeah, this one's tasting pretty dank and easy. I mean, the mosaic stands out nice in here. I mean, easy drinking. I could drink this all day. 7.2. It tastes pretty smooth. So,
Pretty smooth. Cheers, bro.
So what do you got there now, Johnny?
Dude, I got the Dankster Squad.
Oh yeah, Dankster Squad. Right on, dude. How's that?
Yeah.
It is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
The hop bill is Simcoe Mosaic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
You know.
Classic pairing, dude. Some of the best. The perfect
Dude.
marriage of blends, if you will.
So good. Yeah,
Tasty.
what do you got? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm drinking the Black the Riiper. This is a GABF award-winning beer. This is the one that I was telling you guys about. All over, just, you know, if you like black coffee like I do, and you like hoppy IPAs like I do, this is going to be a beer for you. It is probably my favorite beer here at Riiper that they do, and this is one of those beers that's very special. I know it's a little cliche to say that, but it's like a special occasion. Some of their best stuff here, for sure.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed today's story, then you know, feel free to like and subscribe.
Yeah, we work hard on these videos. You know, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. We love craft beer and we love true crime. But yeah, we're also on Instagram and Twitter and Reddit, right, Johnny?
Reddit.
So yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for the love, and see you guys in the next video.
So join us next time as we uncover more skeletons in Southern California's closet.